that they're still around here despite of me best efforts to scare them off. So we devise a plan, which is to first find another fish like this wahoo. This is my buddy's footage. And that's a holding shot after a few minutes of wrestling with it. It's now time for the next phase, OFA plan, to chop up its body in the water, which will hopefully attract other bigger fish like marlin. And the plan works surprisingly well, so it does attract bigger fish just. Not the ones that we're looking for. It's extremely unusual to see sharks behave like this in Indonesia. In fact, it's pretty unusual to even see sharks in Indonesia because they're so heavily fished by the locals, eventually it gets a little out of hand. And we have to veto a new spot. I would have been more confused by the presence of these sharks if we hadn't visited this island a few days ago. I can't show you the island because I don't want to give away its location, but it's basically in extremely deep cliffs surrounded by a beautiful white sand beach, and at the very top of that cliff is a military base. When we first arrived, we had to climb hundreds off these steep rickety steps. To get up there, we need to ask the commander for permission to fish around the island. About 20 soldiers live here, and they stay for 9 months at a time. And during those 9 months, there's no TV, no internet, no cell reception. But they do have goats. Anyways, turns out the Saudi's preferred form of entertainment is spearfishing. And because their equipment looked kind of old, my friend Andre was kind enough to give them some brand new spear guns from his workshop back in Bali. It was very generous of him, but unfortunately, I didn't get it on camera, so instead, here's a clip of him peeing off the front of the dinghy. Look at how good at balancing he is. Anyways, the commander grants us permission under one condition. We need to catch enough fish to feed his troops on the way back down these rickety pieces of wood held together by the odd rest. Why screw? I wonder how the hell we're going to bring the fish. We catch all the way back up, but that's a problem for later. Oh, hand, please. Excuse me for a moment while I awkwardly try to talk to the camera. What nice army guys. Oh, that was painful to watch. Maybe I should just stick to voiceovers. So basically the reason that there are so many sharks and so many fish is because no one is allowed towfish here. These are virgin grounds. It's kind of amazing. Here's a good example of the fish life around this island. This is me buddy footage. He sees a big grouper from the surface, only 4 or 5 m deep. These would never happen back in Bali because there's way too many fishermen there. But this big grouper might never have seen a human before and is clearly not afraid of my buddy here. He's waiting for the perfect shot opportunity. The reason he's doing that is because of the spear gun he's using. It's another one of Andre's guns. As far as spear guns go, it's about as big and powerful as it gets. The reason he's got such a big, powerful gun is so that he has enough range and velocity to pen the body of a big fat dog-tooth tuna. Like here, this is me footage from a few days ago, having milked this clip enough times, yet apparently not anyways, because groupers live around rocks, and caves you need to be very careful when hunting with accuracy powerful gun like this. If you hit the rocks at such close range, it will not only ruin your spear, but it will also ruin your day when you try to pry it back out. Ouch, I wish Ernest Hemingway could have seen that this grouper has no idea how lucky he is. Speaking of how powerful these spear guns are, this is my footage. I see a good seized mackerel, and I've down before I even finish loading me spear gun, because I'm fairly confident that I've still got more than enough power to spear this fish. Turns out I was music. Right, these fish have very soft flesh though, so I let it swim around and tire itself out before pulling it up. A few curious who come by to see what all the commotion is about. Don't worry though, I come back and find them later. This is one of my favorite fish for sashimi, but we haven't caught enough for the soldiers yet. And so this one's going to them. It weighs in at 12 coats, which is less than half the size of the biggest one caught today. This is my buddy's footage again. Remember the guy who did this? Well, right now he's Riadito Redeem himself music. That Spanish is big. It weighs in at 30 kilos, which is pretty massive, but all I can think about is how the hell are we going to get this giant fish up all those wooden stairs? Speaking of big fish, you see this GT that my other bud has speared. Well, that's me putting out off its misery, and on my head is my no merch. It's not really merch thought to read, just high-quality cotton hats similar to classic polo cap, but with different kinds of fish on them. We just added new dog-tooth tuna, and wahoo hats in honor of that marlin that got away. We've dropped a marlin hat as well. Think the marlin will be in stock by time. see this video, and if noted will be in a couple of days. Have you ever seen a YouTuber do an ad while stabbing a fish in the head before I wonder why I can't find any sponsors for me channel? Anyways, this is my buddy's footage again. He's lining up on a solid job fish. And there's no way we're giving that one away. Remember those sharks. Well, after my buddy spears his red base with a low shot, it breaks free. As I saturate my footage, he's not wearing a GoPro. But it's the exact same fish and exact same situation anyways. The reason I'm telling you this is because about 30 minutes later we see something floating in the water. Oh, it's that same red base, well, half of it. I honestly have no idea why the sharks didn't finish the job, but we will. And remember those well, I know if these are the same ones or not, but they're in the same spot, and they swim right up to me on the surface. And I always get worried when I spear, though. They're one of the fastest fish in the ocean, and their flesh ice unbelievably soft, and that combination means that unless you place a really solid shot, you often lose. The fish not this time, though. Meanwhile, plenty of other mackerel snappers, and even a small doggy are caught by the other guys. Obviously, this is way too much fish for us, but it's not way too much fish for a bunch of hungry soldiers at the top of that cliff. Speaking of music, which turns out on the other side of the island, the soldiers have already solved the problem of how to bring heavy things up to the top of this music cliff for music. This is definitely the most interesting way we've given fish away. Yeah, the